in order to feel alive, you need to feel emotions. So when I talk about feeling alive, I talk about experiencing it. I talk about experiencing life in the fullest way. So I do cold dips a lot in the winter where I go swimming in the ice.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and that is one of the things that makes you feel alive. You feel the pain of the cold. You feel the
Sensations.
sensations. Yeah, you feel that sort of high that you get when you get out. You feel your body warming up. You know, the whole thing.
Thank you for taking the time to come through and have a conversation with me. I haven't seen you in a while. I've been following your YouTube channel for a while, and I always learn something new about you. But before we even get into the questions that I have for you today with regards to your YouTube journey, I want you to basically introduce yourself.
My name is Shea. I have a YouTube channel called Half or Half, and it's based on self-improvement, and I like to live my life trying to be better each day, and through that I wanted to share that with others and maybe provide some inspiration, maybe motivation, whatever the case, provide some sort of knowledge through my experience of trying to improve myself, trying to be better.
So I've watched a lot of his videos, and he's got about 12 uploads, and I'll link his channel down in the description. Starting with the title of the channel, Half or Half. How did you decide on that name? What's its significance?
So it's a little, I mean, everyone asks me this because it's a little bit of an interesting name. And it comes from the saying, glass half full, glass half empty.
Okay.
So it's basically like, you know, if you look at the glass half full, then you have like a positive outlook on life. If you look at the glass half empty, then you have a negative outlook.
Yeah.
And so I just thought that kind of fit into the whole brand of self-improvement and a positive or negative outlook on life, basically.
I like that. I like that. That's good. And what's your ultimate goal with the channel, long-term wise? Yeah.
Yeah. So my ultimate goal is I love to help people. I love to talk with people. I love to share my experience with people. So I want to be able to reach as many people as I can, and I want to grow to a point where I can share with a large community of people who have like a like interest to mine, so that we start sort of like a movement. You know, there's a big self-improvement movement out there already, but I want to be able to share my sort of spice to it, my own sort of flair to it.
Okay. In one of the videos that I watched, I remember you stating, if I don't try, I won't fail. And you mentioned about something to do with limiting beliefs. Do you currently have a set of limited beliefs yourself?
Yeah, so I think that's like a really popular thing with so many people. They have self-limiting beliefs. I have self-limiting beliefs. A lot of people have self-limiting beliefs. And when you kind of get these beliefs, you gotta sort of realize that they are self-limiting beliefs. So for me, one of my self-limiting beliefs in the past, and still to this day, like I still, you know, have these self-limiting beliefs because it just comes back up, you know. When I'm in a point of like a low point in my life, maybe I'll have this self-limiting belief saying, oh, if I can't try, then I'll never fail. And that's been my self-limiting belief my whole life. When I was in high school and just regular school back when I was younger, I would basically not try at all because I was worried that, well, I'm not gonna do good on this anyway, so why would I even put my time and energy into it, right? So the if I can't try, I won't fail thing has been a thing for me for my whole life. And through this process of working through confidence, I guess, that I have about myself towards these ideas, about these new things that I want to try, whether it's with a YouTube channel, which was a big thing that I was like, oh geez, I'm scared to do this, I don't want to do this, you know. Whether it's with any sort of the challenges that I do on my channel, whether it's with anything in life, like talking to somebody, maybe I'm talking to a girl, maybe I'm talking to a new friend, maybe I'm talking to like a business associate. You know, I have all these ideas, maybe it won't work, or maybe I shouldn't be doing this, like I'm not cut out for this. And I feel like so many people have that. It's such a common self-limiting belief.
It is,
which is what I talk about in my videos. I think that the shame in not doing it because of being fearful outweighs the fear for me. And I think that if you can get your mind to a certain point where that is the case, then you'll be flying, you'll be going. You know, you can do whatever at that point.
Did the 30-day time challenge. What would you say was the biggest lesson throughout those 30 days?
Yeah, so the handstand challenge was definitely, it was an interesting one, because I realized that doing a handstand maybe wasn't as hard as I thought it would be, but also at the same time I didn't apply myself as much as I would have liked.
Okay.
So I would definitely practice every day, every morning, doing the handstand. But I think that if I had focused on doing the proper technique and focused more on proper training in order to be able to do the handstand, then I could have maybe completed it by the end of the 30 days. As you know, if you've seen the video, I didn't actually complete it by the end of that 30 days. I could have maybe applied myself in a more direct way towards the handstand challenge, and maybe I could have done it more.
Okay.
I could have trained more towards the challenge, maybe taken it as more of a, taking it a little more seriously.
Yeah. So when you say train more, are you saying train more before or during? During.
Yeah. So what I would do when I would do the challenge, my routine was I would get up every morning and I would train for maybe half an hour in the morning, and I thought that was sufficient because I thought, oh, I'm making tons of progress. I can already kick off the wall a little bit. I can already hold it for maybe a couple seconds, maybe 2 seconds, whatever the case. But I realized that it gets harder as you go, as so many things in life do, whether it's learning a language, whether it's learning math, or learning whatever the case it is. It takes longer, and it's going to be a lot harder the more you get into it. So you learn the most at the beginning, and because of that, I kind of had a false sense of confidence learning the handstand, where I thought, oh, I can just continue doing this the same way that I've been doing it. But maybe I should switch it up a little bit and add it a little bit more into my routine.
Okay. Next question. I watched your video, Do You Ever Feel Alive? And it got me to think about my own personal, stuff that I have going on in terms of how I deal with certain things, certain situations, which also led me to ask you this question. How do you personally keep feeling alive?
Yeah, so Do You Ever Feel Alive is certainly one of my favorite videos.
Yeah.
It's, I was at a point in time where I was constantly just doing things that I love to do. I was staying out, I was living in a school bus at the time.
Okay.
For the summer, and I believe that's the video. I was staying in a school bus at the time for summer. I was going on runs, I was going on swims, I was, surrounded by nature, wildlife, the whole thing, At the time, I realized that so many people, they don't feel alive. And the concept came from my rope climbing video, where I climbed a rope and I realized this is one of the first times in years that I've felt, truly alive, where I felt that adrenaline, where I felt that that feeling of fear because I'm high off the ground, that pain in my hands from gripping the rope, all these senses coming together to make you feel alive, right? And in order to feel alive, you need to feel emotions. So when I talk about feeling alive, I talk about experiencing it. I talk about experiencing life in the fullest way. So I do cold dips a lot in the winter, where I go swimming in the ice.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and that is one of the things that makes you feel alive. You feel the pain of the cold, you feel the sensations, yeah, you feel that sort of high that you get when you get out, you feel your body warming up, the whole thing. Just sort of attacking your senses, and you kind of have to take it in and deal with it and control yourself and just calm yourself down, maybe if you're feeling a little anxious or whatever the case it is. You just have to experience these emotions, experience these feelings in order to sort of feel alive. I think that when it comes to hard work and trying to be better. When I was younger, I was on the worst soccer team. I was on like the B team, right? And I felt horrible because all my friends were on the top team, you know, A team, whatever, right? And so through that sort of feeling of wanting to be with my friends, wanting to be better, and you know, my coach is saying, oh, you're not fast enough, oh, you know, the negativity, it kind of motivated me to get going. It motivated me to start working hard, and that's sort of when I decided that, you know, maybe I'm not the most talented, maybe I'm a little chubby, maybe I'm a little slow, but let's fix that. You know, let's change the narrative. Let's go and prove these people wrong and say, hey, I can actually do this. You know, I actually have it in me to do this, right? And since then, you know, I think I've used that sort of discipline, sort of hardworking attitude in my own life outside of soccer in order to kind of improve myself and become better and whatever the case. So I think that it's so important to have that discipline in order to be able to just be the best version that you can be.
In your video, are you doing enough? You stated that there are days you don't meet the expectations you set for yourself for that day. How do you deal with such days?
Yeah, so I have days like that all the time, you know, and it's definitely like one of my biggest challenges, one of my biggest struggles of thinking that I should be doing more, thinking that I should be doing this, should be doing that, whatever the case. And I think I haven't fully figured out how to deal with that. It's one of those things that like I'm still trying to process, still trying to learn. How do I fully deal with, fulfilled with my day, or whatever the case. And I think that when we're in low points, or when I'm in a low point, I think it's important to have certain non-negotiable things to follow. Whether that's, like for me, it's always eating healthy, always exercising, whether it's doing like jiu-jitsu or going to the gym or martial arts or whatever the case, always staying active, you know, or going for a run or whatever it is. Doing my cold dips, I always commit to doing that. Taking the cold showers, whatever the case, I always have these non-negotiables so that I can, when I do come out of this, when I do, maybe I'm in a low point, I'm in a rut, right? And I'm being a little lazy, you know, I'm feeling down on myself, whatever the case. When I do come out of it, when I force myself to push past that, to get out of that low point, I can sort of just pick up where I left off before. Because of the non-negotiables, which are, for me, going to be different than what they would be for someone else, I can say, okay, let's get back to it. I can keep doing my non-negotiables, but also add the things that I want to do on top of that.
All right. And then in that same video, you revealed that when you want to do something, you first ask someone how many of that thing you should do in terms of, let's say, you're running up a hill, you would ask, in my opinion, how many should I do? And let's say if I say 5, you end up doing 6 or 7 or 8. And that got me curious because a lot of athletes, a lot of competitive people, they have that mentality in terms of, I want to do better than what's expected of me. So I want to know, where did that mentality derive from in your case? Like what drives that mentality?
Yeah, that's actually exactly it. I want to do better than the expectation people have.
Okay.
So, as I said before, when I was younger, and I was on the worst team in soccer, and people would like, whatever, my coach would say, oh, you're not fast enough, or my friends would be like, oh, you're not good enough, or, you know, maybe not my friends, but some people would be like, you're not good enough, whatever the case. I would take that to heart and say, well, yes, I am. Let me prove you wrong, because that's the best way to do it, you know. For me, at least, it's the best way to prove somebody wrong when they think that you can't do something. Go and do it, you know, and say, I told you so. Or maybe not like, you know, get that revenge, but just have that within yourself, knowing that you can do that, you know. I think that thing where I ask people how many should I do, and then doing extra to whatever they say.
Yeah.
I think that's that comes from like I'm a very competitive person.
Yeah.
Because I've always tried to be the best. I've always tried to work as hard as I can and be the hardest worker in the situation. Basically, when I ask people that question and they give an answer and then I say I want to do more, I want to beat their expectation they have of me. Maybe they think, oh, this person can only do 5 hill sprints, or this person, whatever, has 5 in them, whatever, 5 hill sprints in them. But I'm saying, but trying to overcome any sort of doubt that maybe people have in me, or maybe that I have in myself.